Introduction. Improving productivity isn't about squeezing more hours from your software team. It's about working smarter, not harder. Below are 50 actionable hacks grounded in psychology, behavioral science, and real-world team experience. They're tailored for a 15-person development team, so each technique includes how to apply it in your day-to-day team context. The tone here is professional yet approachable. No dense jargon or grand theory, just clear explanations and examples. From managing time and focus to boosting team morale, these hacks will help your team code more efficiently, collaborate better, and reduce stress along the way. Let's dive in one by one. Goals and priorities. 1. Clear goals and definition of done. Start with clarity. Teams are most productive when everyone knows exactly what the goal is and what a successful outcome looks like. In practice, this means defining each task's definition of done, e.g., feature X is done when it passes all tests and is deployed to staging. Psychology backs this up. Specific, challenging goals lead to higher performance than vague, dear best aims. MED, Stanford, EDU. Clear goals align the team's efforts. For a software team, ensure each ticket or user story has well-defined acceptance criteria. When goals are unambiguous, developers waste less time guessing or reworking, and they can channel their energy directly into meeting the objective. 2. Prioritize daily MITs, most important tasks. Have each team member identify their top priorities each day, often called most important tasks, MITs. The idea, famously stemming from the Ivy Lee method, is to write down, say, the evening before, the 5 key tasks that will make the biggest impact tomorrow. By focusing on these first, you ensure critical items get done. This hack works well in a team stand-up. Each morning, developers can briefly share their MITs, which creates focus and transparency. It's psychologically satisfying to check off important tasks, and it prevents getting sidetracked by trivial to-dos. With everyone clear on their own and each other's priorities, the team stays aligned and productive. 3. Eat the frog. Tackle the tough task first. Eating the frog means doing your hardest, most important task first thing in the workday. Often attributed to Mark Twain and popularized by Brian Tracy, this hack leverages willpower and morning energy. For a software developer, that frog might be debugging a critical issue or writing a complex algorithm, the kind of task you're tempted to postpone. Tackling it early means you face it with a fresh mind before meeting fatigue or smaller distractions eat up your day. Completing a tough task in the morning creates a sense of accomplishment that propels you through the rest of the day. As a team, you can encourage a culture of knocking out the big challenge first, perhaps sharing in the daily stand-up which frog each person will devour. By lunchtime, you've handled the toughest problems, reducing stress and building momentum for lighter tasks in the afternoon. 4. The 80-20 rule for impact. The Pareto principle, or 80-20 rule, teaches that roughly 20% of efforts yield 80% of the results. In a team context, identify which activities are the high-impact ones and prioritize them. For instance, maybe 20% of the bug fixes solve 80% of user-reported issues. Do those first. Or a few key features provide most value to clients. Focus on those before polishing minor features. This hack is about working smarter. Instead of trying to do everything, zero in on the tasks likely to produce outsized results. As a team, regularly ask, are we working on the thing that really moves the needle? By channeling energy into the critical few tasks and saying no or later to the trivial many, your team maximizes productivity and value delivered. 5. Break tasks into smaller steps. Big projects can overwhelm and paralyze progress. The hack here is to break large tasks into bite-sized steps. Behavioral science shows that making progress, even small wins, boosts motivation and momentum. nestlabs.com. nestlabs.com. In practice, if the team has a huge feature to build, split it into smaller milestones or subtasks. For example, instead of one vague task, implement payment module, break it into design payment API, implement PayPal integration, write unit tests for payment logic, etc. Each small step is clearer and more doable. Team members can then tackle these one by one, enjoying a mini sense of achievement at each completion. This approach leverages the Zeigarnik effect. Our brains like to finish what we've started by creating manageable chunks that team members will be eager to close out. It also makes it easier to distribute work among a 15-person team and track progress visibly. Small steps, big wins. 6. Plan tomorrow, today, end-of-day planning. Before you wrap up for the day, take a few minutes to plan for tomorrow. This simple habit pays off in productivity. Each developer can jot down what they aim to accomplish the next day, their tasks, or a rough schedule. This pre-planning empties those to-dos from your mind so you can truly disconnect after work, which improves rest. It also means you hit the ground running in the morning without wasting time deciding where to start. In team practice, you might have everyone post their next day plan in a chat channel or add it to the board before leaving. It creates accountability. You've written down your plan and allows teammates to see each other's focus. Psychologically, it leverages intention setting. Studies show that when you articulate a plan, in the morning I will finish Module X, you're far more likely to follow through. Plus, it helps coordinate work. If Alice planned to test a feature Bob is finishing, she's ready to go. Planning tomorrow, today ensures smoother, more focused mornings for the whole team. Time management hacks. 7. Time blocking your schedule. Time blocking means scheduling dedicated blocks on your calendar for important work, effectively making appointments with yourself to focus on specific tasks. Instead of a vague plan to work on project Y sometime, you carve out, say, 9/11 M solely for coding project Y. Many productivity experts, like Cal Newport of Deep Work, swear by this technique for sustained focus. Within a team, encourage members to block out time for their key tasks and respect those blocks as if they were meetings. For example, if a developer has a time block labeled Code Review 3 for PM, other team members avoid interrupting them then. This hack combats the tendency to let open time get filled with low-value busy work or constant interruptions. By committing chunks of your day to high-priority work, you ensure those tasks actually get attention. The team can even coordinate common focus blocks, e.g., everyone has quiet work time in the morning. With time blocking, important work doesn't just happen when we get a chance. It's baked into the schedule. 8. Pomodoro focus sprints. The Pomodoro technique is a popular time management hack where you work in short, intensely focused bursts and then take a break. Classic Pomodoro is 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes of break, repeated, named after a tomato-shaped kitchen timer. This leverages our brain's ability to sprint when a break is in sight. It also uses deadlines. Knowing you have a limited window can push you to work faster and avoid procrastination. Calendar.com. Todoist.com. In a software team, you can apply Pomodoro by having focused sprint sessions. For example, as a team you might all agree to a 25-minute coding sprint where messages and emails are ignored, followed by a 5-minute stretch and chat. Some teams even synchronize Pomodoro timers to stay in rhythm. It's effective for cutting through procrastination on tasks like writing documentation or fixing tedious bugs. The short burst makes it less daunting. Over the day, these cycles ensure a balance of deep work and rest. Research in productivity suggests working in cycles, like the ultradian rhythm of 90 minutes, with breaks maintains high mental performance. Neurotrack.com. Pomodoro is a practical way to harness that. You maintain intense focus, then recharge briefly and repeat. 9. The 2-minute rule. David Allen's GTD methodology popularized the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately rather than postponing it. This hack fights procrastination and prevents small tasks from piling up. In a development team context, think of those tiny chores: responding to a quick code review comment, creating a ticket for a minor bug you discovered, or filing your daily time report. If it truly can be done in a minute or two, knock it out on the spot. This keeps your to-do list lean and frees your mind from remembering trivial tasks. It also keeps the workflow smooth. For example, if every developer immediately fixes small interwarnings as they see them, you avoid a backlog of minor issues. The caveat is to distinguish these quick wins from larger tasks that require focus. Don't let 2-minute tasks constantly interrupt deep work. You might batch them at break time. Overall, the 2-minute rule adds efficiency by ensuring little things don't become big distractions later. 10. Time boxing and Parkinson's Law. Parkinson's law states that work expands to fill the time available. Time boxing is the remedy. Set a fixed, short time limit for tasks. For instance, give yourself only 1 hour to refine this code, or we'll spend 30 minutes max troubleshooting this issue before escalating. By imposing a constraint, you create a healthy sense of urgency and prevent tasks from dragging on indefinitely. Forbes.com. In team usage, you can timebox meetings or discussions, e.g. a design debate gets 20 minutes, then a decision. You can also use it in planning. Break the project into timebox segments, spikes, coding, testing, so everyone works more efficiently to meet the time challenge. This hack is powerful for combating perfectionism or analysis paralysis. Knowing the clock is ticking pushes the team to focus on essentials. Many hackathons and timed coding contests demonstrate how much can be done under a deadline. While everyday work isn't a race, adding a self-imposed deadline for a task often reveals that you can finish it faster than you thought. Time boxing harnesses Parkinson's law to your advantage, keeping work tight and on schedule. 11. Batch similar tasks together. Switching gears too often can kill productivity, as your brain loses momentum each time it changes context. To avoid that, batch similar tasks and do them in one focus session. For a dev team, this could mean grouping your shallow tasks together. For example, set aside one block to respond to all code review comments, another to update documentation on multiple pages, and another for routine admin or emails. Similarly, developers might accumulate a few small bug fixes and tackle them all in one go. Batching benefits from the mind's flow. Once you're in code review mode, you'll go faster on the next one than if you reviewed one here, one there in between other work. It reduces the cognitive cost of context switching. As a team, you can coordinate batching, e.g. all testers test a batch of new features in a single session rather than scattered testing. This hack is rooted in efficiency psychology. Our brains have startup costs for each new type of task. By doing similar tasks back to back, you essentially pay that cost once and reap speed and accuracy on the rest. The result: less time lost getting back into the groove and more tasks completed in the same time. 12. Include buffer time for the unexpected. In software projects, things rarely go exactly as planned. Unexpected bugs, questions, or server issues pop up. Productive teams plan with buffers to absorb these surprises. Concretely, when scheduling your day or sprint, leave a bit of open time, say 20% of the day unallocated. This cushion means when a teammate asks for quick help or a build server goes down, you have time to respond without derailing all your planned tasks. It also reduces stress. If nothing urgent arises, you can use the buffer to catch up or even get ahead on tasks or learn something new. From a psychology viewpoint, buffers acknowledge reality and prevent the over-optimism trap. Teams that jam-pack every minute of the schedule often end up feeling behind and frustrated when the inevitable hiccup occurs. By contrast, a team that builds slack into their day can handle issues more calmly and still finish on time. Managers can support this by not overloading every developer's capacity to 100%. In practice, maybe each afternoon has a 30-minute flex time slot. If you need it, it's there. If not, great. Buffer time as a habit makes the whole team more resilient and consistently productive instead of oscillating between rush and crisis. Focus and energy. 13. Single tasking, no multitasking. Multitasking might sound efficient, but for cognitive work like software development, it's largely a myth. Our brains do best focusing on one thing at a time. Single tasking means fully engaging with one task, finishing or reaching a good stopping point, and then moving to the next. When developers try to code while also monitoring chat, answering emails, and joining meetings, they suffer task switch penalties. Research shows that brief mental blocks from switching can cost up to 40% of someone's productive time. HRD, TCU, EDU. So, as a team, establish a norm that it's okay to concentrate on one task without instant responding to others. For example, if a programmer is in the middle of debugging, they can mute Slack and ignore email for an hour, and the team respects that they're in focus mode. You might even use a status like deep work or a little flag at your desk to signal, "I'm single tasking, please do not disturb unless urgent." By doing this, Each person enters a flow state more easily and completes work faster and with fewer errors. It's about quality over quantity of parallel tasks. One thing at a time, done well, often beats many half-done things. 14. Manage notifications. Minimize interruptions.
Ping.
Another email, another chat message. Constant notifications can fracture anyone's focus. A key productivity hack is taking control of notifications so you, not your apps, decide when you'll deal with incoming info. Encourage your team to use Do Not Disturb modes during focus blocks, as mentioned in time blocking. Silence non-essential alerts on your computer and phone when working on critical code. Perhaps disable those pop-ups or badges that tempt you to check build status or social media every few minutes. Instead, schedule specific times to check notifications, as covered in the next hack. In a team environment, set norms. For example, agree that it's fine to not answer internal messages immediately if you're in the zone. Some teams use statuses like heads down coding so others know an immediate reply isn't expected. By reducing unneeded interruptions, you protect the team's concentration. This hack is supported by attention research. Every interruption can require significant time to refocus on the original task. Fewer interruptions equals more continuous flow equals higher productivity. So manage those notifications. Turn them off, filter them, snooze them. Whatever it takes to keep your attention on the work at hand. 15. Batch communication times. Email and chat are necessary, but they can become endless if checked continuously. To stay productive, batch your communication rather than reacting in real time all day. For example, a developer might decide to only check email at 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. instead of constantly monitoring the inbox. Similarly, the team could establish specific times for Slack checks or non-urgent message responses. Say, everyone catches up on messages right after lunch. Batching communication means you handle all those emails and messages in one focus swoop, then get back to coding without the distraction of inbox pings. It aligns with the idea of task batching, hack number 11, and reinforces single tasking. In team terms, this might mean if something is truly urgent, team members know to call or walk over. Otherwise, an async message can wait for the next check. This hack helps reduce the always-on anxiety and context switching that kills productivity. It might feel odd at first. We're so trained to respond instantly. But when the whole team respects batched communication windows, you'll find deeper focus during work periods and more efficient, thoughtful replies during the set communication times. It's a win-win for concentration and collaboration. 16. Distraction-free workspace. Your physical and digital workspace heavily influences your focus. A cluttered desk or a messy computer desktop can subtly distract and stress you. Create a distraction-free workspace to boost productivity. For a software team, this means things like having a clean, organized desk or desktop environment with only the materials needed for the current task at hand. It might mean using an IDE full screen to avoid seeing other apps, or turning off that second monitor if it's showing tempting distractions. Noise can be a big distraction in open offices. Consider providing quiet zones or noise-canceling headphones to the team. Also, ensure the environment is comfortable. Good chairs, proper lighting, maybe some plants or personal touches that make developers feel at ease. A calm mind focuses better. Digital workspace hygiene counts too. Close unrelated tabs and apps when focusing on something. Some teams even have agreed quiet hours, where the office or Slack goes silent. Behavioral design research shows that environment cues shape behavior. If your space is set up for concentration, minimal clutter, minimal noise, you are more likely to stay on task. By intentionally crafting a distraction-free workspace, the team can enter flow states more readily and crank out quality work with fewer lapses. 17. Block distracting websites and apps. Even the best of us can succumb to the lure of social media, news, or other online distractions during a challenging work moment. One effective hack is using website blockers or focus apps, a form of pre-commitment device, to remove the temptation entirely. There are tools that can block or limit access to chosen websites, like Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, etc., during work hours or whenever you turn on a focus mode. As a team, you might make it a fun challenge. Everyone uses a focus app like Freedom or a Chrome plugin to blacklist common distractions while coding. It's the digital equivalent of keeping the candy out of sight so you don't snack. This leverages behavioral science, specifically commitment devices and environment design, to keep you on track. If a developer tries to procrastinate by browsing, the blocker steps in. Shouldn't you be working? Nudging them back to the code. Similarly, silence or log out of personal chat apps during work sprints. The idea is to reduce reliance on willpower by structurally preventing distraction. Over time, this hack can train better habits. You might find the urge to check those sites diminishes. By collectively agreeing to minimize digital distractions, the team sets a culture that values focus, making high productivity the path of least resistance. 18. Take regular microbreaks. Working nonstop for hours can actually diminish returns. Science shows that brief breaks during work help recharge your attention and prevent burnout. A microbreak might be just 5 minutes to stretch, walk, or grab a coffee. It may feel counterintuitive to stop when you're trying to be productive, but these short pauses can increase overall output. For example, after a solid 45 to 60 minutes of coding, stepping away from the screen for 5 minutes can reset your focus for the next round. Some teams adopt the rule for every hour of work, take a 5 to 10 minutes break, aligning with research like the 52-17 rule, 52 minutes work, 17 break, which found top performers naturally took frequent breaks. Neurotrack.com. In practice, you could sync breaks with your team, e.g., everyone takes a break at the top of the hour, encouraging each other to step away. During the break, do something different. Stretch your legs, look away from code, maybe chat about non-work stuff or just rest. Micro breaks help in preventing mental fatigue and maintaining creativity. Ever notice how stepping away can spark a solution to a stubborn bug? The key is to truly disconnect for that brief time. No checking work emails, so your mind can recover. When used well, regular micro breaks will make your focused periods even more effective, keeping the team fresh throughout the day. 19. Move and stretch periodically. In addition to mental breaks, physical movement is a powerful productivity booster. Periodic movement, like standing up to stretch, taking a short walk down the hallway, or doing some quick exercises, can reinvigorate your body and mind. Sitting hunched over code for too long leads to fatigue, which can sneakily reduce concentration and increase errors. Encourage a team habit of short activity breaks, perhaps a group stretch every 2 hours or optional, walk around the block meetings. Some offices implement standing desks or encourage walking meetings for brainstorms. Physiologically, movement gets blood flowing and can improve alertness. A bit of exercise releases endorphins that elevate mood and energy levels. This ties into the idea that productivity isn't just about time management, but energy management as well. For example, if the team is sluggish in the afternoon, a 5-minute group stretch or a quick game of table tennis in the break room can reset everyone's energy. It might sound trivial, but a brief change of posture and scenery can prevent the 3 p.m. brain fog and help developers come back to their screens with renewed focus. Over the long run, encouraging movement also benefits health, which means fewer sick days and more consistent productivity. So, weave some motion into the workday. Your team's brains will thank their bodies. 20. Manage energy, not just time. Productivity isn't only about managing minutes and tasks, it's about managing energy. Different people have different peak times of alertness. Some are morning larks, others night owls, and everyone experiences energy ebbs and flows during the day. A hack for the team is to let people do their most demanding work when their energy is highest. For instance, if a developer knows they're sharpest in the late morning, that's when they should schedule heads-down coding on complex features, save lighter tasks like email or routine testing for the post-lunch dip. Teams can accommodate this by some flexible scheduling or at least awareness. Don't put the longest meetings at the time most folks have low energy. Also, pay attention to breaks for recovery, as covered in hack number 18, and encourage healthy habits like staying hydrated and having a nutritious lunch rather than a heavy meal that causes a crash. This hack finds support in research on ultradian rhythms and willpower depletion. We have roughly 90-minute cycles of high and low alertness, and willpower for focus is like a muscle that tires without rest. Managing energy might also mean ending work at a reasonable hour. Pushing past exhaustion today can mean a sluggish team tomorrow. In practice, Discuss as a team when each person feels most in the zone, and try to align key tasks with those windows. By aligning work with natural energy highs and recharging during lows, the team can maintain a consistently productive output without burnout. 21. Mindfulness and breathing breaks. Sometimes the best way to refocus a scattered mind is a quick dose of mindfulness. A short mindfulness or breathing exercise can calm stress and sharpen concentration. This could be as simple as taking 2 to 3 minutes to close your eyes and take deep breaths, letting go of whatever mental chatter is buzzing from the morning's meeting or that complex bug. Such practices are supported by psychology research for reducing anxiety and improving cognitive function. In a team context, you might start a long afternoon meeting with a 1-minute guided deep breathing, or encourage individuals to use meditation apps like Headspace or Calm during a break. Some offices even have quiet meditation rooms or play ambient calming music for a few minutes. The effect is a mental reset. Your brain clears out tension and becomes more present for the next task. For example, if a developer is feeling frustrated after debugging an issue for an hour, stepping back and doing a short breathing exercise can prevent that frustration from spiraling and restore a level head to tackle the problem anew. Mindfulness is essentially training attention, so it directly combats the mind wandering and distraction that hurt productivity. Making it a routine part of the workday, like a midday mindfulness break, can increase overall team focus and resilience to stress. It's a small habit that yields a calmer, more attentive state of mind, which is great for quality coding and teamwork. 22. Encourage rest and work-life balance. A well-rested developer is a productive developer. It's crucial to encourage adequate rest and work-life balance within your team culture. While pushing long hours might seem to get more done today, it often leads to fatigue, errors, and burnout that hurt productivity tomorrow. Ensure your team members feel okay logging off at a healthy hour, taking evenings and weekends to recharge. Make it clear that responding to messages at 10 p.m. is not expected. Leaders can set the example by not glorifying all-nighters and by actually using vacation days. Research consistently shows that sufficient sleep improves memory, problem-solving, and concentration. In fact, happy, well-rested employees have been found to be 31% more productive than unhappy or burned-out ones. Fond, Hetsio. So this hack might involve gentle reminders. Hey, it's 7 p.m. Go get some rest. The code will be here tomorrow. Or ensuring people actually take their lunch breaks instead of eating at the keyboard. It also means recognizing signs of burnout and adjusting workloads before people crack. In team terms, you can institute no meeting Fridays or flexible hours so that early birds and late risers can work when they function best. When team members take care of their life and health, good sleep, a bit of exercise, family time, they come to work with better focus, mood, and motivation. It's the foundation that makes all the other productivity hacks sustainable. A team that treats rest as essential is, ironically, far more productive than one running on fumes. Collaboration and team workflow. 23. Public commitment. Announce goals. Committing to a goal publicly, even to just your 15-person team, can significantly boost the chances of achieving it. The act of stating, "I will finish feature A by end of day," in front of others creates a sense of accountability. Psychology calls this public commitment. Once we declare an intention, we're motivated to remain consistent with our word. In one study, people who sent their goals to a friend accomplished much more than those who kept goals to themselves. Scholar.dominican.edu. To leverage this hack, incorporate it into team routines. For example, in your morning stand-up or daily Slack thread, have each member share their main goal for the day. It could be as simple as, "I commit to closing ticket number 1234 today." Knowing that colleagues are aware of your goal provides a nudge to focus and follow through, since none of us like to be seen as not delivering on what we promised. It's a positive peer pressure. This also gives the team visibility. If John declares he'll finish the API integration, others know to check in or offer help if needed. Public commitment works at larger scales too. A team can commit to another team or to the company about hitting a milestone, which rallies internal motivation. The key is to make it a routine in a supportive way, not a blame-why way. Celebrate when commitments are met, and if someone struggles, the public nature can invite collaboration. "I promise this, but I'm stuck." Anyone free to pair for a bit? Overall, sharing goals openly turns individual intentions into team objectives, and that social element drives higher productivity. 24. Peer accountability buddy system. Two people can often keep each other on track better than one alone. Implementing a buddy system for accountability pairs up team members to regularly check in on each other's progress and goals. This can be informal. You and your buddy share what you plan to get done this week, and midweek you touch base to see how it's going. Knowing that your peer will ask, "Hey, did you finish setting up that CI pipeline?" provides an extra incentive to avoid procrastinating on it. It's rooted in behavioral science around accountability partners. Whether in exercise or work, we tend to stick to our commitments more when someone else is invested in our success. In a dev team, buddies could also do things like review each other's code or be a second set of eyes on tricky problems, which naturally creates a sense of we're in this together. For example, Alice and Bob agree to pair up. Alice will ensure Bob wrote his unit tests by Friday. Bob will ensure Alice resolved those UI bugs. They remind and encourage each other. This hack also fosters closer collaboration and support. If one person is slipping, the buddy can help identify why. Maybe offer a tip or reprioritize together. To apply it, a team lead might explicitly assign buddy pairs for a sprint, or it can arise organically among team friends. The key is that commitment isn't made into the void, it's made to a colleague. That gentle social pressure and mutual support keeps momentum going, making each person more productive and accountable than they would be solo. 25. Ask for help early, no stigma and doubt. Encourage a culture where team members ask for help as soon as they need it, rather than spinning their wheels in isolation. In software, it's easy to get stuck on a bug or an unclear requirement and lose hours going in circles. A productive team short-circuits this by making it safe and normal to shout out, "I'm stuck on X, can someone assist?" early in the process. This hack relies on psychological safety, a term Google's Project Aristotle identified as the #1 factor in high-performing teams. When developers feel safe to admit they don't know something or made a mistake, they seek solutions faster and the whole team benefits. For example, instead of suffering silently over a tricky integration for a day, a developer pings the team chat in the morning. "Struggling with Y library, any experience here?" Chances are someone has a hint or can pair program for 15 minutes to unblock the issue. Those 15 minutes of help might save 5 hours of solo frustration. To implement this, leaders should model it. "I'm not sure how to proceed here. Suggestions welcome," and reward question asking. Peers should react kindly and helpfully to requests. The team can even set up a quick daily blockers round, often part of stand-ups, explicitly to surface where help is needed. By removing the stigma from asking for assistance, you dramatically cut down wasted time and prevent small problems from festering. It also spreads knowledge. The next time that issue arises, more people know how to solve it. In short, a question unasked is an hour wasted. So make asking easy. 26. Rubber duck debugging. Explain the problem. Sometimes the simple act of explaining a problem out loud can lead you to the solution. This is the magic of rubber duck debugging. Named after the idea of talking to a rubber duck as a stand-in listener, the hack is to articulate your issue step by step as if teaching it. In a team context, you don't literally need a duck. You can grab a coworker or just verbalize to an empty room. As you explain the code bug or design roadblock to someone or something, the act of putting it into words often clarifies your thinking and exposes the flaw. Many developers have experienced that aha moment halfway through describing a bug to a teammate. You realize the solution on your own. Encouraging this practice can save time. If someone is stuck, they can say, "Hey, can I rubber duck with you for 5 minutes?" The colleague just needs to listen, sometimes asking basic questions. Often, the stuck person will resolve it without heavy assistance. This works due to cognitive offloading and forcing a structured review of the problem. Teaching or explaining engages a different part of your brain and can break you out of the mental loop you are in. It's also a low-cost way for teammates to help each other. Sometimes the buddy doesn't even need to provide answers, just be present. By normalizing rubber ducking in your team, maybe even keep a toy duck or mascot as a fun reminder, you create a quick problem-solving hack that boosts individual productivity and reduces time lost to stubborn issues. 27. Swarm on blockers. Team unblocking sessions. When one person is stuck on a critical problem, consider the swarm approach. Multiple team members rally to tackle the issue together, briefly, so everyone can move forward. This hack is inspired by mob programming and the idea that for tough problems, several brains are better than one. For instance, if a production bug is halting progress, the team might dedicate the next 30 minutes for a mini war room. Everyone drops what they can, focuses on that bug, shares ideas or dives into different angles, and collectively squashes it. In practice, this could be done in person around one computer or via a quick video huddle and screen sharing. Swarming prevents one developer from burning an entire day while others are idle or waiting on that outcome. It leverages diverse expertise. Maybe the DB expert and the API expert together pinpoint the issue faster. This technique also has a motivational effect. When you're stuck alone, frustration builds, but when the team jumps in, morale lifts and it becomes a collaborative challenge. Use this judiciously. Not every minor hiccup needs a swarm, but for truly blocking issues that impede multiple people or key progress, a short, intense team effort can be ultra-productive. It taps into the spirit of pair programming, but on a slightly larger scale for a short duration. Once resolved, everyone can disperse back to their own tasks, now unblocked and with time saved. It's a hack that turns a roadblock into a quick group problem-solving session, reinforcing the idea that we succeed or fail together, and saving time overall. 28. Visual Task Tracking Board. Out of sight, out of mind. That can happen with tasks if they aren't visible. A visual task board, think Kanban board or any task tracking visible to the whole team, greatly enhances team productivity by making the status of work clear at a glance. Even if you're not doing full Kanban, you can maintain a simple board with columns like to-do / and progress / done, and have each user story, task, or bug on a card. When the whole team can see work items moving across the board, it creates shared awareness and accountability. It's motivating to move your tasks to done and see progress accumulate. If something lingers in progress too long, the team notices and can offer help or reprioritize. A physical whiteboard with sticky notes works if you co-locate, or digital tools like Jira, Trello, or Azure boards if remote. The key is everyone updates it regularly. Behavioral science favors visual progress cues. The brain gets a dopamine hit from seeing a task completed or a burn-down chart trending to 0. It ties into the progress principle. Knowing you're making progress and seeing it boosts motivation. Nestlabs.com. Teamwise, a shared board prevents things from falling through the cracks and reduces the need to ask, "What's the status of X?" constantly. Daily stand-ups can revolve around the board. Let's all look at the board. What's moving today? This hack takes a page from agile methodologies without requiring full adoption, just the simple act of visualizing work. It aligns everyone and drives focus towards finishing tasks so you can celebrate moving that sticky note to done. 29. Limit work in progress. Finish before starting new. It's tempting, especially for enthusiastic developers, to start new tasks without finishing current ones, perhaps to chase a new idea or because one task got hard. But too many half-done things can bog a team down. Limiting work in progress, WIP, is a hack borrowed from Kanban. Set a rule that each person or the team should only have a small number of tasks in progress at any time, for example, no more than 2 per person. This creates a gentle pressure to finish what's on your plate before grabbing another item. Why it works? It minimizes multitasking and context switching, as discussed in hack number 13, and ensures throughput. Tasks actually get completed and delivered. If each dev is juggling 5 tasks, it might take weeks to finish any. If they focus and complete 1 or 2 at a time, value is delivered sooner and with less confusion. As a team, you can even put WIP limits on columns of your task board, e.g. no more than 3 cards in progress for the whole team of 15 at once. If the limit is reached, team members must swarm to finish something before starting new work. This fosters collaboration and completing over starting. It also exposes blockers. If you can't finish X and can't start Y because of WIP limit, you'll raise the issue, maybe it's stand up and get help. This hack fights the natural tendency to overextend. It brings a disciplined focus on completion, which ultimately means more tasks done per week and less partial work floating around. In short, stop starting, start finishing. 30. Define clear roles and ownership. When roles and responsibilities are fuzzy, tasks can be duplicated or neglected. I thought you were doing that. Clear roles and ownership in a team setting means everyone knows who is responsible for what domain, and each key task has an owner. This doesn't mean people can't help each other, but primary ownership avoids the diffusion of responsibility. For example, designate one developer as the build master of the week. They own fixing any build breakages. Or clearly assign Module A lead, Jane, so anything related to Module A, Jane oversees. Clarity prevents gaps and also empowers individuals to make decisions faster in their area without always seeking group consensus. A study on team productivity found that role clarity can improve efficiency significantly. CEOHangout.com. People waste less time when they understand their remit and authority. In practice, at the start of a project or sprint, explicitly list out who's doing what. Even on daily tasks, when a bug comes in, decide immediately who will handle it, rather than leaving it in limbo. This hack ties in with goal clarity, not just what needs doing, but who will do it. The psychological benefit is reducing anxiety and confusion. Team members have confidence about their duties and can proceed without hesitation. It also makes accountability fair. Successes and learning opportunities can be traced to owners, which helps with recognition and improvement. All in all, when everyone knows their role and those of their teammates, the machine runs smoother with less duplicated effort or idle time waiting to see who picks something up. 31. Delegate and leverage strengths. In a diverse software team, different members have different strengths. Some are optimization gurus, some great at UX, others at automation scripts. Delegation isn't only the manager's job. Within the team, people should hand off tasks to those best suited or with available bandwidth. This hack means not hoarding all tasks on your plate. If you're swamped or know a colleague could do a certain task faster, speak up and delegate or swap. For example, if a senior dev is spending hours fiddling with CSS that a front-end specialist could fix in 30 minutes, better to delegate that UI tweak and free the senior for architecture work. Delegation maximizes overall team productivity by matching tasks to skill sets and ensuring no one is overburdened while someone else is underutilized. It also serves as skill development. Maybe a junior dev can take on a task the senior initially grabbed, growing their abilities with oversight. The key is trust and communication. Team members should feel comfortable saying, "Can someone else take this? I'm not making progress," or conversely, "I can help with that task if you want." Good delegation hinges on clarity, as per hack number 30, and on not micromanaging once delegated. Give the person ownership to execute. In psychological terms, effective delegation increases a sense of autonomy and mastery for the person receiving the task. They get to contribute in a meaningful way and relieves stress for the one who is overloaded. The result, a more balanced workload and a team playing to its strengths, which means faster and better outcomes. Motivation and team culture. 32. Celebrate small wins, micro rewards. Big project completions are great, but small wins along the way are just as important for motivation. Behavioral science calls this the progress principle. Even minor progress boosts morale and productivity. NestLabs.com. For a team of developers, that means celebrating when a tiny milestone is reached, merging a tricky pull request, closing the 100th ticket, or resolving a long-standing bug. These are micro rewards or micro victories. The celebration need not be grand. A round of applause in a meeting, a fun GIF reaction in chat, or a quick, "Nice job fixing that bug. It was a blocker," from a team lead. The point is to acknowledge progress. This creates a positive feedback loop. Achieving something, however small, triggers a dopamine hit and makes people feel valued. NestLabs.com, which in turn fuels more motivation to tackle the next task. In practice, you could keep a wins channel or board where team members drop notes of things accomplished each day. Or, at the end of the week, everyone mentions one thing they were proud of completing. Management can reinforce this by visibly appreciating incremental improvements, not just final deliverables. Small rewards can also be tangible, e.g. after finishing a tough debugging session, the team takes a 15-minute coffee break together as a treat. Over time, a culture of celebrating micro-wins keeps spirits high, even during long projects. It reminds everyone that progress is being made, which is crucial for sustaining momentum. Remember, productivity isn't just about discipline, it's also about morale, and nothing lifts morale like noticing that today we move forward. 33. Recognize and praise team members. Never underestimate the productivity power of a sincere thank you or public praise. When people feel appreciated, they're more engaged and motivated. Make it a habit in your team to recognize each other's good work. This could mean a shout-out in the team meeting. Kudos to Jane for refactoring the code base. It's much easier to work with now. An appreciative email or chat message, or even a peer-nominated Dev of the Month for someone who went above and beyond. Such recognition taps into positive reinforcement. Behavior that gets praised is more likely to be repeated. It also satisfies a basic psychological need for appreciation. Research finds that employees who receive regular recognition are more productive and satisfied. In a small dev team, recognition can be very specific. Praise quality, not just quantity, like complimenting someone's clever algorithm or how they helped a colleague. Ensure it's genuine and timely right after the achievement. This builds a supportive team atmosphere where people feel their contributions matter. Importantly, peer-to-peer recognition is as valuable as manager-to-peer. Encourage team members to praise each other when something goes well. For example, a tester might thank a developer for delivering a nearly bug-free feature, which in turn encourages the dev to keep that quality. Over time, this hack fosters camaraderie and an intrinsically motivated team. People start taking pride in their work because they know it's noticed. High morale, driven by recognition, often translates into people willingly going the extra mile when needed, improving overall productivity without any external push. 34. Gamify routine tasks. Turning work into a bit of a game can inject fun and motivation into routine or tedious tasks. Gamification means applying game-like elements, points, challenges, leaderboards, rewards, to work. In a software team, identify chores that tend to be boring, writing tests, clearing the bug backlog, doing code reviews, and add a playful competition or reward around them. For example, you might create a leaderboard for bugs closed this week, or award a small prize or bragging rights to the person who writes the most unit tests or mentors others through tough issues. Even something silly like virtual badges, Deployment Hero badge for whoever handled the Friday deployment, can boost engagement. This hack works because it taps into our natural drive for achievement and recognition. Micro-rewards, hack number 32, are inherent in games. The dopamine from earning points or completing a challenge in a game can similarly be felt when work adopts those structures. One real team example. Some companies do bug bashes where they gamify bug hunting. Each bug found and fixed scores you points. Team members often get surprisingly into it, knocking out a huge number of issues in a short time because it's framed as a competition. Important: keep the competition friendly and healthy. The goal is to motivate, not to create cutthroat rivalry or devalue cooperation. Maybe focus on team-based games, like splitting into two squads competing who closes more tickets. Gamification should be lighthearted and voluntary, an enhancement to work, not a burden. When done right, even boring tasks become more engaging, and overall productivity rises as the team plays their way through the backlog. 35. Foster autonomy and ownership. Autonomy, having control over how you do your work, is a major driver of intrinsic motivation according to self-determination theory. PositivePsychology.com. People are more productive when they feel trusted to make decisions and own their tasks. To leverage this, give team members freedom in their approach, and encourage a sense of ownership over their components or projects. For instance, instead of micromanaging how a developer implements a feature, you might just specify the requirements and constraints and let them figure out the best solution. Perhaps allow flex hours or the choice of tools/libraries, within reason, for their work. When someone comes up with an idea for improving the product or process, empower them to run with it, or at least seriously consider it. In practice, you could assign each major module to a developer to own. They get a say in its roadmap and are responsible for its quality. Ownership increases pride and accountability. The person will naturally put in more effort and care. Autonomy can also mean letting the team self-organize some tasks, e.g. let them decide who will tackle a bug rather than always assigning. Studies of workplace motivation show that when employees have higher autonomy, their performance and job satisfaction go up. All work at space. In a team of 15, fostering autonomy also distributes leadership. Different people step up in different areas. As a manager or tech lead, it means guiding with context and goals, but not dictating every step. As peers, it means respecting each other's space to solve problems their way. When people feel this is my project rather than I'm just coding what I'm told, they bring more initiative, creativity, and diligence, which supercharges productivity and innovation. 36. Connect work to purpose and meaning. It's easy for developers to get lost in the weeds of code and forget why their work matters. Connecting to the larger purpose can be a powerful motivator. Remind the team and yourselves how the software you're building impacts users or the business. For example, share customer feedback. Our app helped me organize my small business better. Thank you. When a developer knows that the feature they coded will save someone hours of work or bring joy to a user, it gives extra meaning to even the tedious parts of the job. Psychologically, purpose taps into intrinsic motivation. Humans are wired to want to contribute to something meaningful. There's a famous study where call center employees who met a scholarship student who benefited from funds they raised saw their performance skyrocket because they now saw the why behind their tasks. Faculty, Wharton.UPenn.edu. In a team setting, you can recreate this by regularly sharing success stories, user testimonials, or the mission of your product. If your software is internal, then highlight how it makes colleagues' lives easier. Also, link individual tasks to the bigger picture. E.g., this optimization may seem minor, but it will reduce load times, and faster responses mean happier users and less churn. Some teams invite end users or stakeholders to demo days so developers see real people using their creation. When developers feel their work has purpose beyond just writing code to make the company money, they often put more heart and effort into it. That passion translates into higher quality and persistence through challenges. Purpose-driven teams are generally more cohesive and productive because they're fueled by a shared mission, not just deadlines. 37. Set optimal challenges. The Goldilocks principle. Work that is too easy becomes boring. Too hard becomes demoralizing. Productivity thrives when tasks are in the Goldilocks zone. Not too easy, not too difficult, but just right to stretch skills. This is closely related to the concept of flow, coined by psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, where people enter a state of absorbed focus when challenges match their skill level. As a team hack, aim to assign tasks in a way that each member is appropriately challenged. For a junior dev, that might mean giving them something slightly beyond their current skill with support, rather than only trivial tasks. For a senior dev, it might mean including some technically challenging components, so they don't stagnate on maintenance chores. You can also break work such that everyone gets a mix, some comfort zone work and some stretch work. If someone is consistently bored, they'll coast low productivity. If someone is constantly overwhelmed, they may give up or slow down. Optimal challenge keeps engagement high. There's a sense of game in conquering something just at the edge of your ability. In practice, check in with team members about their workload difficulty. Rotate assignments to avoid monotony. Encourage taking on reach goals, with mentorship available. Also, when planning sprints, include a variety of tasks, some quick wins, some medium efforts, maybe one ambitious item. The team's overall morale and output improves when everyone is stimulated, but not frustrated. And if you hit that sweet spot, developers often get into flow states, where productivity can soar and hours fly by because they're deeply immersed in solving an interesting problem that they know is solvable with effort. It's an energizing place to be. 38. Embrace a growth mindset and continuous improvement. Adopting a growth mindset, the belief that abilities can be developed through dedication and learning, can transform a team's productivity. Instead of thinking, I'm just bad at estimating time, or we're not good at front end, a growth mindset reframes it as we can get better if we practice and learn. This attitude makes challenges and even failures into opportunities for improvement rather than morale killers. Encourage team members to give and receive feedback constructively and treat mistakes as lessons. For example, if a sprint doesn't go well, Instead of blaming, the team can analyze what process tweak could help next time, maybe better story breakdown or earlier testing. This ties into the idea of continuous improvement, Kaizen. You might implement brief retrospectives regularly, even outside formal Scrum, a quick chat. What can we improve for the next project? When people are not afraid of blame, they will surface issues openly, and when they believe they can improve, they'll actively seek solutions. Over time, these incremental tweaks compound into huge productivity gains, better practices, tools, and skills. A growth mindset also encourages learning. Team members might take turns sharing new tips or tech discoveries in weekly meetings, creating a culture of constant skill upgrade. Psychologically, this fosters resilience. Setbacks don't discourage the team as much because they see them as part of the journey, not a fixed verdict on their ability. It's important for leaders to model this, e.g., admitting when they don't know something and then showing how they learn it. When continuous improvement is baked into the team's DNA, processes get slicker, code gets cleaner, and everyone's productivity snowballs with each iteration. 39. Knowledge sharing sessions. In a team, knowledge is power, and sharing it makes the whole team more powerful and efficient. Set up regular knowledge sharing sessions where team members teach each other something useful. This could be a short weekly lunch and learn presentation, a show and tell of a neat trick discovered, or even pair programming sessions where an expert coaches another on a new skill. For example, if one developer mastered a new debugging tool, they can demo it to the others so everyone saves time in the future when debugging. Or a session on common pitfalls in our codebase and how to avoid them can prevent others from stumbling into the same problems. The psychological benefit is twofold. The presenter reinforces their knowledge by teaching, the protege effect, and the learners get upskilled without having to individually figure everything out the hard way. This hack reduces the bus factor risk too. Knowledge isn't siloed with one person such that if they're out, productivity halts. It also builds camaraderie, as people feel they're growing together. From a practical standpoint, schedule these sessions at a regular interval and keep them short and focused so they don't become a drag. Encourage not just technical topics. Sometimes sharing soft skills or productivity tips, like these hacks, is valuable too. Creating documentation is another form of knowledge sharing. Keeping a team wiki or tips and tricks document means when someone learns something, it's recorded for all. Over time, the team develops a robust collective intelligence. When any member encounters a challenge, chances are someone else's knowledge or documentation can help solve it faster. In sum, by continuously cross-training and sharing know-how, you amplify each individual's capabilities with the entire team's brainpower, making the group far more productive than the sum of its parts. 40. Use checklists for repeated tasks. When tasks are routine or have multiple steps, checklists are a simple but extremely effective tool to ensure consistency and prevent mistakes. In software teams, you might have checklists for things like code review done right, a list of items to verify before approving a PR, or a deployment checklist, steps to release new code. This hack acknowledges that human memory is fallible, especially under pressure. Even experts can forget a step. Atul Gawande's work in medicine showed that surgical checklists dramatically cut errors. Silva.blog. And while coding isn't surgery, the principle applies. By writing down the standard steps once, the team can reuse that list every time, freeing brainpower for the unique parts of the task. For instance, before deploying, run through. Did we update the version? Run all tests. Notify stakeholders. A 1-minute checklist can save hours of firefighting from a misstep, like forgetting to run a database migration. Encourage team members to develop and refine checklists for processes they handle often. This also helps onboard new members faster. They have a guide to follow for complex procedures. Checklists act as a safety net, catching oversights and improving quality, which means less rework and more reliable productivity. They should be short, clear, and focused on critical items. No one wants a 50-item list for trivial things. Embrace them as living documents. If a postmortem of an incident reveals a step that should be added to the checklist, update it. Over time, these checklists become part of the team's muscle memory, making repeated workflows efficient and error-resistant. Less time fixing avoidable mistakes means more time moving on to the next task. 41. Document key information. Team knowledge base. How many times has someone lost time because they had to rediscover information that a colleague already knew? A team knowledge base, even a simple one, can prevent reinventing the wheel. The hack here is to document anything that could be useful later: solutions to tricky bugs, setup instructions for the dev environment, decisions made about architecture, best practices, etc. For a team of 15, consider a shared wiki, OneNote, or Google Docs folder where anyone can add learnings or FAQs. For example, if you solve a thorny issue integrating with an API, write a quick entry about the fix or workaround. Next time anyone hits that, they'll find the answer in seconds rather than hours. Documentation doesn't have to be heavy or formal. Even a troubleshooting page with bullet points is gold. Another approach is to document via code comments or readmes in the repository, but a central place is helpful for cross-cutting topics. By doing this, you create a collective memory. It's particularly crucial as team members come and go or rotate roles. The knowledge stays even if individuals move on. It also speeds up onboarding newcomers, who can self-serve a lot of answers from the knowledge base instead of interrupting others, saving everyone time. Culturally, treat documentation as part of definition of done for major tasks. Finished means not just the code, but also relevant docs updated. Yes, writing things down takes a bit of time up front, but it pays huge dividends by preventing repetitive questions and mistakes. To keep it from feeling like a chore, you can make it easy, templates, or integrate it into workflow, like a placeholder in pull requests for any docs to update. A well-informed team is an efficient team. What one knows, all can know, and progress continues without unnecessary backtracking. 42. Automate repetitive tasks. Anytime you find the team doing a manual, repetitive task over and over, ask, can we automate this? Automation is a developer's best friend for productivity. Write a script, use a tool, or create a shortcut for those mundane activities that consume time and risk human error. For instance, if deploying to a test server involves 5 manual steps, invest time to create a simple deployment script or CI/CD pipeline. If setting up a new developer's environment takes hours of manual configuration, write an automated setup script or use containerization. Automating tests is a classic example. Automated test suites catch issues quickly and free developers from tedious manual regression testing every time. The general principle is to use machines for what they do best, repeatable tasks, and free humans for creative work. In a 15-person team, if each person saves even 15 minutes a day through some automation, that's nearly 2 hours of team productivity gained daily. Plus, automation often improves consistency. Fewer, oops, I forgot step 3 moments. To implement this hack, encourage a mindset of, if you have to do it twice, automate it. Maybe allocate some time each sprint for DevX, developer experience, improvements where the team focuses on internal automation and tooling. Document these scripts and make them easy to run, so everyone benefits. Celebrate those who create a useful automation because they likely save their peers a lot of effort. There is upfront cost, but consider it an investment. Writing a script for an hour that saves 10 minutes every day will break even in a week and then continue paying off. Over time, the team's efficiency compounds as more and more routine work is handled by reliable automated processes in the background, letting the developers concentrate on complex tasks where their brains add the most value. 43. Use templates and snippets. Don't start from scratch if you don't have to. Using templates and code snippets for common patterns can speed up development significantly. For example, if your team often writes similar boilerplate code, like creating a new microservice or implementing a standard logging class, create a template project or snippet that has the basic structure ready to go. Most IDEs and editors allow custom snippets. You type a short trigger and it expands into a chunk of code with placeholders. Invest a little time in building a library of these for the team's common needs. It could be as simple as a snippet for a standard function comment block, or as involved as a base project framework. Templates aren't just for code. You can have templates for design documents, for how to structure meeting notes, or user story descriptions. They ensure consistency and save the mental load of blank page syndrome. The practical effect is you reduce repetitive typing and mistakes. A dev can generate a consistent module outline in seconds and then just fill in the unique logic. It also helps with quality. If your template includes best practice patterns, say, security checks or error handling scaffold, then every new piece of code starts with those included. To implement, identify areas where the team repeats itself. Perhaps designate a snippets master or encourage each member to contribute one useful snippet to a shared repo. Tools like Yeoman generators or GitHub repo templates can provide larger scaffolding. This hack, like automation, pays off repeatedly. Instead of reinventing the wheel each time, you have a head start. Over a year, the time saved by using templates for dozens of tasks is huge. Plus, new team members ramp up faster when they have templates to guide them. Ultimately, it's about working smart. Do creative work where it matters and use pre-made blocks wherever possible to keep things moving efficiently. 44. Sharpen the saw, skill and tool improvement. Sometimes the best productivity boost comes not from working harder on the task at hand, but from improving your tools or skills so future tasks go faster. This concept, often phrased as sharpen the saw, from Stephen Covey's Habits, means taking time to hone the team's capabilities. In practice, this could mean dedicating a couple of hours each week for learning. Let team members take an online course, read up on a new framework, or practice a new programming technique. It might feel like time away from real work, but it pays dividends when that new skill allows them to solve a problem in 1 hour that used to take 5. Similarly, invest in tooling. If your IDE has features you haven't explored, a short internal workshop on advanced IDE shortcuts or debugging tricks can significantly speed everyone's daily work. Or maybe trying out a new library could simplify a lot of code. Encourage the team to share productivity tips, like a faster way to navigate code or a script to generate reports. As a manager, allow and even schedule learning time or hack days to improve internal tools. The psychological side is that it keeps the team engaged and prevents stagnation. Learning new things keeps work interesting and minds sharp. There's also a payoff in innovation. Someone might discover a technology that streamlines a whole workflow for the team. For example, learning about a new profiling tool could help optimize your application much quicker the next time. It's like sharpening an axe. You could keep chopping with a dull blade and work harder, or pause to sharpen it and then chop effortlessly. So, periodically step back from the grind to upgrade yourselves and your environment. Over time, this continuous skill improvement makes the team far more efficient and up to date with best practices, meaning higher productivity in the long run. 45. Run efficient meetings. Meetings can be notorious time sinks if not run well. By making meetings efficient and purposeful, you return valuable time back to the team for productive work. First, question if a meeting is needed at all. Could the issue be resolved with a quick Slack message or an email update? If a meeting is necessary, say, for brainstorming or decision-making, then apply some hacks. Have a clear agenda circulated beforehand so everyone comes prepared, and stick to it. Assign a facilitator or rotating meeting owner to keep things on track. Use a timer or time boxes for each agenda item if you have multiple topics. For example, we'll spend 15 minutes max on code review policy updates, then switch. Encourage standing meetings, literally standing up, for daily syncs. People tend to be more brief when not settled into a comfy chair, hence the Scrum stand-up tradition for quick check-ins. Limit attendees to only those who need to be there. Optional attendees can be kept in the loop via minutes. Speaking of which, designate someone to take notes or decisions and share them, so others don't need to attend if not necessary. By doing all this, you avoid the common pitfalls: meetings that wander with no decision, meetings that start late, or those that involve too many people. An efficient meeting might even end early if goals are achieved. Wrap it up. The psychological aspect is respect for everyone's time, which increases morale. When the team sees that meetings are short, useful, and rare, they'll engage fully when one does happen and appreciate that they have more uninterrupted time to do actual work. Over a week, cutting even 2 one-hour aimless meetings and replacing them with well-structured 30-minute ones gives your 15-person team many hours of productive time back. That's a big win for output and focus. 46. Learn to say no, avoid overcommitment. A sure way to kill productivity is to spread the team too thin by saying yes to every request and initiative. Learning to say no, or not now, to certain tasks or feature requests is essential to protect the team's focus on what truly matters. This hack is about prioritization and setting boundaries. For example, if a stakeholder asks for a low-priority change in the middle of a sprint, a productive team might push back politely. We can certainly address that, but given our current commitments, can it wait until next sprint? Or if an extra meeting is scheduled that doesn't seem valuable, team members should feel empowered to opt out or question the need. Saying no can be hard, but it ties to the 80-20 rule, hack number 4. By declining the less important 20% of tasks that would consume 80% of time, the team stays focused on high-impact work. It also prevents burnout. A team that never says no may end up working unrealistic hours or delivering subpar results because they took on too much. Leaders can help by prioritizing ruthlessly and shielding the team from scope creep. Individuals can practice by diplomatically negotiating deadlines or resources. If we must do X now, what should we drop to make room for it? This sets clear expectations that something's got to give. Warren Buffett once said that really successful people have a very long list of things they don't do. They say no a lot. In our context, that means not every idea becomes an active project, not every favor is immediate. The psychological benefit is a sense of control and focus. The team isn't victim to endless demands. They have agency to concentrate on the agreed goals. In practice, this might mean having a visible backlog but only pulling in what the team can realistically handle and communicating to others that additional items will wait. By mastering the art of a well-placed no, the team can say yes to what truly counts and excel at those. 47. Capture tasks and ideas. Write it down. Our brains are great at creating ideas, but not so great at storing a jumble of to-dos and information. A key productivity practice is write things down the moment they pop up instead of trying to mentally remember everything. This hack is championed by David Allen's GTD system, freeing your mind from being a storage device so it can be used for actual thinking. FOND, HETSEO. FOND, HETSEO. For a dev team, this means encourage everyone to keep a capture tool handy, notepad, app, sticky notes. If in the middle of coding, Bob suddenly remembers, we need to renew the domain in 3 weeks, he jots it in a to-do list and returns to coding, rather than letting it distract him or, worse, forgetting it until it's a crisis. If Alice has an idea for a refactor while in a meeting, she notes it down to review later. The team could use a shared backlog or personal task trackers to record these items. By writing tasks and ideas down, you externalize memory. FOND, HETSEO. You don't waste mental energy reminding yourself, don't forget X every 5 minutes. This reduces cognitive load and stress. It also ensures things aren't lost. How often do we say, oh, I meant to do that, but it slipped my mind? With this habit, that happens less. In team processes, it could mean always logging action items during meetings so they aren't forgotten, or updating the task board immediately when new work arises. Another benefit is clarity. When you see tasks written out, it's easier to prioritize or delegate them. A practical tip: have a centralized place for captures that need to be addressed, like a team inbox of tasks or a Slack channel for random ideas, so nothing falls through the cracks. Ultimately, the team's workflow becomes more reliable and less chaotic. By building the discipline of get it out of your head and on paper or screen, your minds stay free for problem solving and creativity, which is what you want them doing, not running a mental post-it note service. 48. Avoid perfectionism overkill. Striving for quality is good, but perfectionism can become a productivity pitfall when taken too far. There comes a point of diminishing returns where polishing something further yields negligible benefit, but eats up a lot of time. For instance, spending hours micro-optimizing a piece of code that's already fast enough, or tweaking the UI endlessly beyond the requirements. The hack here is to recognize the good enough point based on the task's requirements and impact. This ties to the Pareto principle too. Often 20% of effort gets you 80% of the value, and the last 20% of tiny improvements might take another 80% effort. In a team context, cultivate a culture where people take pride in their work but also know when to wrap it up and move on. One way is to define exit criteria, e.g. for a feature. Once it meets specs, passes tests, and is user-approved, declare it done rather than adding just one more enhancement. The code reviews can help call out over-engineering. Teammates might gently say, "This solution is already clean and working. Perhaps we don't need to refactor further right now." Another strategy is time boxing. Hack number 10: allocate a reasonable amount of time for a task, and when time's up, evaluate if further perfection is truly justified. By avoiding perfectionism, you also reduce stress. Perfectionists often feel anxiety and dissatisfaction, which can hamper overall performance. Of course, this doesn't mean deliver sloppy work. Rather, aim for excellence within reason. For example, writing good unit tests is smart, but trying to achieve 100% code coverage on trivial getters/setters might be overkill. Encourage the mantra "done is better than perfect" for tasks where perfect isn't necessary. Often, once the thing is in use, you'll get feedback to iterate on what really matters, rather than guessing up front. The team should focus on what delivers value. By curbing perfectionism, you free up time to tackle other important tasks, thus boosting overall throughput and avoiding burnout on any one item. 49. Habit stacking for new routines. When introducing a new productive habit to the team, use the technique of habit stacking. Attach the new habit to an existing routine so it's easier to remember and adopt. This concept from behavioral science, notably B.J. Fogg and James Clear's work, exploits our brain's tendency to latch a new behavior onto a cue from an old one. In practice for a dev team, find regular events and piggyback new practices on them. For example, if you want everyone to start reviewing the previous day's errors each morning, stack that habit onto an existing one. Right after our daily stand-up existing habit, we'll spend 5 minutes scanning error logs. New habit. The stand-up ends, which is the cue, and immediately the team does the quick log review. Because stand-up is already an ingrained routine, the new habit is more likely to stick since it's tied to it. Another example, to improve documentation, new habit, say, whenever we close a user story, existing event, we take 2 minutes to update any relevant documentation, stacked habit. Over time, the new action becomes as automatic as the trigger. This hack can be applied to personal habits within the team too. If a developer wants to adopt test-driven development, they might decide, when I write a new function, I will immediately write a test for it before moving on. The act of writing a function triggers writing the test. The beauty of habit stacking is it lowers the activation energy for new behaviors, which often fail due to forgetfulness or not having a clear slot in the day. By anchoring them to something you already reliably do, you create a mental link. For a team, explicitly agree on these pairings so everyone knows the routine. After each commit, every time we open a PR, we also. With consistency, these new behaviors become second nature, improving productivity without the team even having to think about them after a while. It's a clever way to introduce positive changes smoothly into the daily workflow. 50. Reduce technical debt regularly. Technical debt, the accumulated quick and dirty solutions in a codebase, can silently slow a team down dramatically over time. If not addressed, developers find themselves spending a lot of time fighting legacy quirks, fixing bugs, or adding hacks on top of hacks, which hurts future productivity. The hack here is to allocate regular time to pay down technical debt in small increments, rather than letting it balloon. For example, you might dedicate the last 10% of each sprint to refactoring and improving existing code, or have every third Friday as cleanup day, where the team tackles known code smells, updates outdated libraries, or improves test coverage. By chipping away continuously, you keep the codebase healthy. Studies have shown developers can spend 23%, 42% of their time dealing with issues related to technical debt. CD and Vector.com. That's nearly a third of your effort lost if debt is high. Paying it off frees that time for new feature development and smoothens everything, builds run faster, less debugging needed. Onboarding new devs is easier with cleaner code. It's like regularly maintaining machinery to prevent breakdowns. To implement, maintain a list of refactoring or improvement tasks alongside feature work. Treat them as first-class work items, not if we have time. Perhaps one story per sprint is purely a tech debt fix. Also, when writing new code, think long-term. Don't introduce new debt gratuitously. Sometimes spending an extra hour now to do it cleanly saves dozens later. Management should recognize the value, share metrics like bug counts or time to release improvements after debt reductions. The psychological effect for the team is positive too. Working on messy code is demoralizing, while improving it gives a sense of progress and craftsmanship. It's rewarding to see the codebase quality rise, and that pride can boost morale. In the end, a team that keeps technical debt in check operates more like a high-performance car rather than one dragging a weight. Everything runs a bit faster and smoother, allowing greater productivity and agility for future challenges. Conclusion: productivity in a software team isn't about one silver bullet. It's the cumulative effect of many small hacks and habits that streamline work, boost focus, and keep the team motivated. From setting clear goals and managing time wisely, to fostering a supportive team culture and continuously improving how you work, each technique builds on the others. Start by trying a few of these hacks that resonate most with your team's pain points. Remember, the goal is not to work crazier hours, but to make your hours work better for you. With these science-backed and battle-tested strategies, a 15-person development team can punch well above its weight, delivering quality software efficiently while keeping stress in check. Encourage the team to experiment with these ideas, keep what works, and even come up with your own hacks. After all, continuous improvement is a hack itself. By embedding these productive practices into your daily routine, you'll likely find not only more output, but a happier, more cohesive team. Here's to coding smarter, collaborating effectively, and celebrating the steady march of progress, one hack at a time.